There we go. Just so I don't really have to change it every time. I'll just set it straight as 12-hour stream. That works for me, that works for me. Hello, hello. Long time no see. Oh, I don't even know when the last time I streamed was. Let me... That'll do. I know my last follow was 2 months ago. But there was a little while where I just wasn't... Didn't get any followers, but was still streaming. Which... Sound, whatever. I'm doing this for this guy. Sorry, I just getting... It's still... I woke up... But I got out of bed. Didn't have the best of sleeps. I woke up about 42 minutes ago. And I thought, oh, what time do I... If I want to start, what time... I will go on to TEW. What time do I want to finish? So I worked it out. I really wanted to start at 7 and finish at 7 and still have the most of my night. But I was just tired from work. So instead, I was going to load up some wrestling. For certain parts while I eat. That would have been good. Can we kind of do that now while everything's still a little quiet? So open YouTube. All you're going to see is the songs that I do. I don't know. What do we like? What wrestling do we like? It's around mine goes blank. We could just stick on best of UWFI. That'll do. So we grab that. Boop. Perfect. Right, move to this. Just so we know we have this. Nice. There we go. So now, yeah, for the times I want to eat, we have wrestling loaded up. So I thought, I've downloaded a few mods. You might see some different things. I at least thought we could start with... So this is different to 2018. I actually got a GIF version of this working. But I thought we could start with some AEW. Just 'cause it can. You'll see all my like general saves like throughout this. I know I'm going to have to cut this up and make episodes out of this, so I don't really mind. If we load, I did start a WWE save, and NXT, for that matter. There's really much we can do. We can just skip that. Skip that. Skip. We're not actually running this. That's what I'm saying. So, show history. All we did was run 205 live. But I also ran. I think I had to run 4 episodes of NXT straight away. Instead of changing it to weekly, and I was like, oh, this is awful. But we continue with AEW to start with. In my head, I was like, oh, I can do 3 hours of 4 saves, but I know there's more of a chance I'm going to get bored before we get to that. We also have some new pictures, which is nice. So, Lance Archer, as we called up. House show, Big Swole, doesn't have long left on our contract. I will give you, honestly, just a handshake. Hair show, no ironclad for the next 3 months. Because you do eventually just leave and you're gone. AEW's Fight TV's done. That's fine. Chelsea Green wants to be called up. Honestly, Chelsea Green, you're just on a handshake. So if WWE wants to hire you, they can go. I won't fight. So where are we at? What was our last show? Have we done bits? We've done fine. This show feels longer than 47. The idea of doing all in just felt dead warm and cozy when we did it. And now we're back to winter. So Cody defeated Jeff to retain. I imagine that was Cody versus Matt. We just had Double or Nothing. And Fighter Fest is coming up. Which I think is just... We have it here. But I think it's kind of just a... episode of Dynamite now. But we'll find out. Can you get the results up anyway? AEW Fighter Fest 2020. Does it even happen? It was a 2-part television special. Took place the first and the second Daily's Place. The event aired on TNT as a 2-part series of special episodes of AEW's Dynamite. Right, the first aired live and the second was taped and went out the next week. That's fine then. It was originally planned to be at Wembley. I did not know that. Right, so AEW Dynamite. June 17th, 2020. What did we think of Blood and Guts? I haven't seen it. I feel like I've heard mixed things, but the 2 Blood and Guts matches themselves are got 5 stars from Meltzer. I know, at least one of them did, but I heard people really liked both of them. So that makes sense. Right. AEW Dynamite, June 17, 2020. Yes, there we go. Perfect. Close this off. I don't think there's anything. It's Stroke Daddy's mental. Family Legacy. I thought we regularly go through pictures. We do have some new pictures. I'm sure we're going to love this segment of the show. That Wardlow is fine. So we only really have 2 Trents. And Chuck Taylor. That one is just the nicest. Roster, Trent. Is there a nicer Tony? Yeah, there is. Tony Khan's picture is actually fine, but... Parks. That's an incredible picture. I think the one we have is the best. Sonny Kiss surely has an updated look. That one's fine. I just thought there'd be more. Sean Spears as well. I feel like I only just changed that picture, but... yeah, there isn't a good one anyway. Excuse me. Glenn Joseph, big progress. I don't even know if he works for Progress anymore. I feel like I met him. No. I met John Briley. Oh, and offered him a sweet. So Dynamite opens up with the tag titles on the line and we're straight into a match. So, oh, no one gets the night off. Venue, I think we're just doing Daily's Place, to be honest. Book and team, that's fine. Myself and Mox got into an argument. Davey Richards wants to hang out. Sure, that's fine. Caitlin and Dustin Rhodes got in an argument. Jim Ross was on fine form. Brandy had a clash with Excalibur. So why did Davey? Matt Jackson has introduced his protege, Brandon Cutler, to the ins and outs of booking. Amy Sakura passed on tips. DDP ran some drills. Cody ran some drills. Jobs are good. So as usual, we have our AEW Dynamite opening. At this point, that has to be a catchphrase. 1 minute. Major stars are fine. Stars are fine. Things are starting to kind of even out up here. So he opens straight with Omega and Hangman against the Natural Nightmares. There they are, Omega and Hangman against the Natural Nightmares. I think we can all presume who wins. Page hits a powerbomb on Marshall, and then Omega hits the V-trigger as Page hits a plancha onto Rhodes on the floor. Omega gets another near fall on Marshall. Omega and Page hit the last call for the pin on Marshall. 13 minutes should do. I don't know why AEW kept kind of QT strong. Because like he isn't very good. He's probably a fine hand, but like he's nothing. And they were like, no, yeah, let's have him kick out of a V-trigger combo. And it's like, alright. So we then get a vignette for Anna Jay airs, where they're talking about her love for wrestling. She calls herself the star of the show. Do we have Anna Jay? Quite possibly. Anna Jay vignette. She calls herself the star of the show. So that's a hype, pre-taped, I guess outside broadcast video of Anna Jay just cutting a promo. We then go straight into Anna Jay against Abaddon. Anna Jay against Abaddon. Abaddon has an insane, creepy look and a very unique entrance. They're running results from Darker on the bottom, which is nice. Abaddon attacks Jay after the bell, goes nuts on her, and hits the reverse Rana for the win. Let's make this match just a wild brawl. The Dark Order comes to ringside and Evil Uno hands Cabana an envelope. Cabana opens it and stares at Brody Lee. The Dark Order help Anna Jay out the ring, and Brody offers her his hands, which she accepts. The Dark Order come to help Anna Jay. Brody offers her a hand that she accepts. So let's just do Evil, Stu, Holt, Brody, Anna Jay and Abaddon. 2 minutes should be fine. So, this storyline. Frankie Kazarian, he can just be removed. Let's add Anna Jay. Straight into MJF against Billy Gunn with his sons. Is our Billy Gunn in rehab? No. Let's just very quickly. We're making. Oh, we finally made money last month, right? Did we actually finally make money? Finances. We did. A lot is reliant on pay-per-view revenue. Without it, we still make a loss. What's our merch at? We are great. We are making a lot of merch. What's our... You can look at contracts. I don't know if we can do it now, is the thing. Contract overview, there we go. I'm actually getting $30 per show when someone else is getting $200,000 a month. These don't look too wild though, I will say. So MJF against Billy Gunn. Why don't we have Billy Gunn? Is Billy Gunn a Nightmare? He is. Borrow. And we do have Colton, because I feel like yeah. Perfect. Where's Austin? Billy Gunn, manager, Austin. And then I guess Austin's manager, Colton. Yeah, MJF against Billy Gunn. After MJF uses the ropes for leverage, the referee makes him break and he gets in a face. MJF goes for the famouser of his own, but Gunn blocks it with his... MJF goes for a famouser of his own, but Gunn blocks it and connects with the famouser. Wardlow distracts the ref, but eats a right hand from Gunn. Wardlow tosses MJF the AEW ring, and then he hits one of Gunn's sons. Gunn goes to the outside and throws Wardlow into the barricade. AEW nails Gunn with the loaded punch. MJF nails Gunn with the loaded punch. And he gets back into the ring and gets the pin. Sometimes the writing of these reviews is awful. As much as I do nothing but appreciate them. MJF. Tainted win. I think to whatever MJF storyline we have, I think it's the American Nightmare. Yes. Just in a minor role, we can have Billy, Austin, and Colton. Sweet. Jungle Boy gets in MJF's face after the match and a big brawl erupts between MJF and Wardlow and the Jurassic Express. Jungle Boy gets in MJF's face and a big brawl erupts. Jungle, Marco, Lucha, Wardlow, MJF, and let's add Billy. Aubrey Edwards will be good. Austin, and Colton. Jericho and Guevara talk about being blood brothers and having each other's back. Is each other's one word? Or can you write each other's as one word? Chris Jericho and Sammy backstage. Let's just have Alicia as an interviewer. I want to utilise interviewers more. Shivani announces that Shida will defend her title against Ford at Fyter Fest. Britt Baker is pissed off and screams that her and Tony are in a friendship timeout. Hang on. Tony announces Shida vs Ford. Baker screams that this is a conspiracy. Again, any update on it? So the doctor will see you now. That's fine. So we have Penelope Ford, Shida, Rebel, Britt Baker, Tony Schiavone. Tony, Britt, Rebel, and then Shida's off screen. Penelope Ford's off screen. Big Swole also appears backstage during that segment as well. On Twitter, AEW has announced that Abaddon has officially signed with the company. Cody says that he found himself all alone last week after getting jumped and wonders if he's even in the Elite anymore, or if the Nightmare family. I'm going to read this verbatim. Cody says that he found himself all alone last week after getting jumped and wondered if he's even in the Elite anymore, or if the Nightmare family even a family anymore. That little stuff is what throws me off. Kinda makes you wonder, Cody says. Arn Anderson announces that Cody's next opponent is former NWA champion Ricky Starks. We then get a vignette about Ricky Starks' career and how he's come from sleeping in his car to being the hottest free agent. Cody wonders if he's even part of the Elite anymore and announces his opponent, Ricky Starks. So Cody cut the promo against Arn Starks on character development. Let's add a little bit of bubbly. That's happening. Bucks against FTR. Drunken Cowboy shit. Hardy Party. Survive If I Let You. American Nightmare. Let's add Ricky Starks. 3 minutes should be fine. Ricky Starks vignette. Talks about becoming the hottest free agent in wrestling. Ricky cutting a promo, we just do it on Cody. It's a pre-taped video outside broadcast, and it's just a minute. And then we do have the TNT Championship of Cody against Ricky. Ricky Starks hits a flying crossbody that sends both men flying over the top rope onto the floor. Back in the ring, Starks and Cody exchange right hands, and Cody attempts the disaster kick, but Starks ducks and nails him with a spear for another near fall. Cody sweeps Starks' legs and rolls him up for a near fall. Both men exchange some nice counters and near falls until Cody connects with the crossroads for the win. And then we're straight into another match, which has Jimmy Havoc, so there's that. 14 and steal the show. Let's move, we can move this to here. Then we're straight into the tag match, which is the Young Bucks against the Super Bad Squad, which we're not doing. Who is Kip Sabian with? He's with Robert Marta, so that could be a team then. Robert, I just, it still tickles me that Robert Marta is just kind of, despite the huge roster, just kind of made his way onto it. And then the Young Bucks. Boom. Sabian tags in and hits the Ghetto Stomp, but Matt breaks up the pin attempt. Havoc tosses Matt to the floor, but Nick shoves Havoc into Sabian. Matt hits a double Northern Light suplex on the heels, and the Bucks connects with a super kick party and then a double V-trigger for the pin. Matt Jackson will do. The Butcher and the Blade attack the Bucks after the match, and FTR jumps in to attack them. The Bucks hit double mind breakers on Jimmy Havoc and the Blade at the same time, and they stare each other down. The Butcher and the Blade attack the Bucks, with FTR running out to save them. Let's just do the Blade, the Bunny, Butcher, Dax, Cash, Kip, Robert, Penelope, and who are we missing? The Young Bucks, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson. 4 minutes will be fine. They want to be without a script. Earlier today, Taz says he... Maybe I'm the problem. Earlier today, Taz says he was hanging out with Brian Cage last week when they heard Jon Moxley running his mouth. Taz calls Moxley a rotten son of a bitch and says that Moxley calls himself a miserable person, but Taz took that gimmick decades ago. Cage says that Mox brought what is going to happen to him on himself, and he says that he wishes Fyter Fest was right now. Do we have everything all fine with Brian Cage? Managed by Taz, heel, sweet. Taz says that he had Mox's gimmick decades ago, and Cage can't wait to get his hands on him. Perfect. That should fit, yeah? Yeah. Taz cutting a promo, Brian Cage cut the promo. Jon Moxley off screen. Are we all still big on Hook? I still really like Hook, so I hope. I saw something happen where like he almost botched a move and another wrestler kind of helped him out, and people were like, "Oh, I don't know." So like, this Hook's so shit, it's nepotism. This other wrestler was like hitting him, and I was just like, just looked like a normal move that kind of went wrong and they were wrestling. I don't know. People are crazy. Jon Moxley cuts a promo about his match with Cage at Fyter Fest. Mox says he is the judge, jury, and execution of AEW, and has bad demons inside of him, and the only thing that keeps them at bay is hurting people in the ring. Mox says, Brian Cage, beat me if you can. Survive. If you are a miserable enough son of a bitch to swim in deep waters, I'm gonna drag you in. See, this part of Mox's gimmick, I kind of find a bit cringy. Like, when he's just a badass beating people up, doing whatever he does, sound. But when he's like, I'm crazy, I hurt people in the ring because I have demons, and I'm just like, you're like 13 and this is deep. Mox says he is the judge, jury, and executioner of AEW. That's fine. I don't really do any further with that promo. It's just Mox cutting a promo on Taz and Brian Cage. In the ring, 3 minutes should be perfect. Sammy Guevara vs Matt Hardy is announced for next week, along with Brody Lee and Colt Cabana against Janela and Sonny Kiss. Also, Wardlow faces Luchasaurus in a lumberjack match. Rebel is looking for Britt Baker backstage, and she finds her in a dumpster almost puking. Baker fires Rebel, but when Rebel says, "You mean I'm free?" and starts to walk away, Baker changes her mind and says she is rehired. Baker screams at Rebel to text Shivani to come help her. Baker says that Big Swole will pay, and she will sue her. Right. Britt Baker says that she is going to make Big Swole pay. That's all that really comes out of that. Britt Baker, got a promo, Rebel, Tony off screen, Big Swole off screen. Matt Hardy comes down to the ring for guest commentary. It is Les Sex Gods against the Best Friends in a #1 contendership match. What have I got Jericho and Guevara as? If they're down as less Sex Gods, we can put them as... Oh, Sammy Guevara injured? I think he might be. He is swollen calf. It is being worked through. I guess it depends if this is the main event. It is. But best friends do win, so it doesn't necessarily matter. We could have Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. Taylor just tosses Jericho to the floor, and Trent goes for the German, but Sammy rolls him up for a near fall. Taylor tosses Jericho into the barricade on the outside, and then grabs a chair, but the referee pulls it away. Jericho tosses 3 tosses in a row. Taylor into the crowd as Sammy hits Trent with the bat. Guevara goes for the shooting star press, but Trent kicks out. Sammy goes for the GTH, but Trent blocks it, and Sammy runs into a cameraman on the apron. Trent hits the Dude Buster for the pin. That cameraman is Orange Cassidy, and he takes out Jericho. Trent, loser, Hager, storytelling. Nice. Orange Cassidy goes after Jericho and hits the Superman punch. Orange, Chuck, Trent, Sammy, Jay, and Chris Jericho. Happy with that? I don't think we really need to do any more. Do we do little pre-show matches? We do. Is there anyone recognisable that needs to be higher? Probably someone like Billy Gunn. He can take on everyone seems fairly well placed. He could take on Alan Angels in like 2 minutes. 3 will do actually. I know he's wrestling twice, but that shouldn't really affect anything. Anyone else recognisable? Chris Daniels is definitely worth a pin over Cutler. And finally, let's get Britt Baker a victory. She can beat Emi Sakura. Sweet. What's Booker Narcissus saying? Nothing major. What creative ideas do we have? Johnny Silver angle idea. John Silver. Angle idea. John Silver. Boom. Let's go. An extremely short pre-show match. Billy Gunn defeated Alan Angels in 326 with a Famouser. And Daniels defeated Cutler in 11:32 with an Angel Wings. And finally, Baker defeated Sakura in 11:34 with a Curb Stomp. Got a Dynamite opening, and about which had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Omega and Hangman defeated the Natural Nightmares when Page pinned Dustin with a Buckshot Lariat to make defense number 5 for the tag titles. An Anna Jay vignette airs where she calls herself the star of the show. In an abysmal wild brawl, Abaddon defeated Anna Jay in 301 with a Cangrejo. Anna Jay also got injured in it, which is nice. At least the angle idea was a success. The Dark Order come to help Anna Jay. Brody offers her a hand and she accepts. MJF defeated Billy Gunn in 11:44 by submission with a Fujiwara armbar after blatantly cheating. MJF was angry that Billy Gunn almost injured him with a botch. Jungle Boy gets in MJF's face and a brawl erupts. Jericho and Guevara talk about being blood brothers and having each other's backs. Don't know why I put a comma. Cody wonders if he's even part of the Elite anymore. Arn introduces his opponent, Ricky Starks. Starks talks about becoming the hottest free agent in wrestling. And then Cody defeated Starks in 1359 with a Crossroads to make defense number 3 of the TNT title. Excuse me. Tony announces Shida against Ford, and Baker screams that this is a conspiracy. The Bucks defeated the Nonconformists when Matt Jackson pinned Robert Martyr with a Meltzer driver. The Butcher and the Blade attack the Bucks until FDR run out to save them. Taz says he had Mox's gimmick decades ago, and Cage can't wait to get his hands on him. Mox says that he's judge, jury, and executioner of AEW, and Cage will survive if he lets him. Baker says she's going to make Big Swole pay. And in our main event, Best Friends defeated Jericho and Hager when Trent pinned Hager. Jake Hager was the weak link, fair play. Orange Cassidy goes after Jericho and hits the Superman punch. Solid show all around. I don't think we should have lost one. I think we need 70 and that was 68. 5 days is sound. Yeah, we're on 69. But I mean, as long as we're getting pop elsewhere, it's kind of fine. What are the comments on the show? Are the Rhodes leaving the Elite? I see Cody doing a slow heel turn. And a quote from JR saying, now is not the time for a hug. Alright, AEW Dynamite. June, sorry. Let's see if there's anyone we need to hire. We are welcome to the show. Luchasaurus against Wardlow in a lumberjack match. Tony Khan announces MJF against Jungle Boy. Baker. Red Velvet's on the show. So let's... Developmental. I don't know if we see any more from the Gun Boys for a bit. Was there anyone else we called up? If there's people we're calling up every time, then we can. Sweet. That's fine. Anna Jay's injured. That's fine. So if we go stable, Dark Order, modify. They're pretty much members. They stay members. James Mitchell at this point we can get rid of. I don't want to pay that money, so it's fine. I was going to do something and I forgot. Oh yeah, Red Velvet. Handshake, pair short, no ironclad, 9 months. So yeah, it's Red Velvet against Shida. There's a press conference. Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela video package. Lance Archer shows up, but obviously we'll do Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill? Jonah Rock. We have FTR against SCU. Kenny Omega and Hangman video. Joey Cruz appears on this show, but I don't think Joey Cruz sticks around long enough. Face off. Nah. There is no one we need to hire for the next show, so we can just kind of... Oh! Oh yeah. Tuggy24 is raiding with a party of 52. Thank you very much. That is way more generous than I thought anyone needed to be. Thank you very much, Tuggy. 9th in the world. Who would be above us? I don't even know how to work this out. Track progress, size criteria. So if we think who's higher in the world, there's obviously There used to be an easier way to see this. WWE, New Japan. I mean, AEW are 11th in the world, which is already kind of crazy because I guess there's so many companies that are minimum size, medium. Main menu, Company Wars was on the right. Hello. Thank you very much. I appreciate that beyond belief. It's kind of embarrassing that I didn't know where Company Wars was, and I still can't really see it. I know what you're on about. Company Wars is here. I didn't know those buttons existed. I only use news. I forgot that the rest of these actually did anything. That's... Wait. How are we below Ring of Honor? I literally just thought that was the skin. I thought news was the only button. Honestly, thank you so much for the raid. It means the whole world to me. I haven't streamed for a long while. And then I just thought, oh, thank you for the follow as well. I hope you enjoy. I hope the little graphic of Tony Hawk's works. I used to have a really nice 2-monitor setup where I could see everything a whole lot better. And now my other monitor's at home, and here I am, just trying to figure it out. But I woke up, I've been planning this loose 12-hour stream for a while. Will it actually be 12 hours? We have yet to find out. But I've got a free Saturday. There's a storm going on. How a wave medium? How does that even work? News. I guess they're just straight doing banger after banger. 57's fine. Or is it the fact they're running 2 weekly shows constantly? I need to buy Ring of Honor, actually. They are... I also got NXT UK as well. Minus 9 million. They are not in bad enough financial shape for me to buy them. I don't know what to do. Like, they've literally released everyone. Imagine, like, being Ring of Honor. He's not letting it happen. He's still running shows. Released Lethal, Briscoe. Like, they're releasing the people whose contracts I might be like, I'll take them. I think because it was a narrative that drastically put them in the red. Jesus, that was 3 views for the longest time, and now it's got up to 31. I don't think I've ever seen 31 people in one stream. I think my max was 6, and then I stuttered, and half of them left. Yet they're just not letting me take them over, which is drastically upsetting. But I mean, we continue to AEW Dynamite 39. Are we hiring anyone? Oh yeah, Red Velvet's coming in. I'm trying to run this show as realistically as possible. I'm going through all the AEW shows one by one. I'm never allowed to misspeak. It's hard as well because I'm constantly reading Dynamite reviews of each show so that I can get it as realistically as possible. I only change the odd bit when someone's an awful person. And they are so badly written that sometimes I'll break on words. And it's embarrassing. But speaking of not being allowed to misspeak, I've planned this in advance. This mod seems to take a lifetime to sim, even week to week. So I've brought out the #1 Times New York bestseller, Mankind. Have a Nice Day, A Tale of Blood and Sweat Socks by Mick Foley. Where did I get up to last time? Oh god, we can hire. Big Swole will only take you for 3 months. I'm not sure at the point where you and Tony fall out. Charlie Dempsey's contract's ending. We have Charlie Dempsey in like a little Nightmare Factory developmental. I have no plan to use him yet. And if WWE wants to hire him, that's fine. We'll stick it to Wadyer and see what he says. I would like you to... I just don't want you to sit because no one's hiring you. And then Mike Seidel. You do debut soon. I got a little bit gung-ho and hired everyone really quickly. Forgetting that it did actually take years for AEW to kind of establish what was going on. But we may continue. Lacrosse had been my passion for several years. At my father's request, I had also played football and basketball as a sophomore, but I sucked at both of them. I think I had 1 tackle and 1 basket the entire season on each of those teams. It wasn't that I wasn't a good athlete. I just seemed to be an underachiever when it came to team sports. In football, I would actually bend down and tie my shoes when it came time to pick sides for practice. In basketball, I liked to stand outside and wait for the long-range jumpers. Contact wasn't the issue. In a game of 1-on-1, or even 3-on-3, I was impassioned when it came to boxing out or playing defence, or driving the lane. When the game turned to 5-on-5 or 11-on-11, I just kind of disappeared, and figured my teammates would take care of it. To this day, I've kept a little bit of that inside me, which is why I've always preferred wrestling as a single. As a single, I get caught up in the match easily. As part of a team, I really have to fight the tendency to rely on my partner. I guess that's why I enjoyed playing goalie in lacrosse. Even though I was part of the team, the responsibility was all mine. I loved the challenge of stopping shots without a chest protector or a cup. It was my prosperity for playing without a cup that led me to the much publicised testicle the size of a grapefruit story on Roy's War, 14 years later. Actually, the whole story is slightly misleading, as I didn't make a habit of playing without a cup, I just often forgot to wear one. My ball wasn't exactly the size of a grapefruit either, more like a medium-sized tangerine. What a segment to start this Mick Foley reading on. It's just, I don't know what it is. This mod seems to take ages to sim day to day. And it just got to the point where like there's only so much wrestling news I can kind of Google. Lacrosse was so important to me that as a senior, I went out for the winter team, strictly to shape up for the spring season. Alright, we may continue. I read it, Scumbag El Patron, what do we expect? I read it as quite a youngish child, and recently rediscovered it in my family house. And I was like, maybe I need to read this again. Red Velvet, I feel like you can be a heel. Mike will send you back down to Nightmare. El Lindemann has left. Ethan Page wants to be called up. Kenny Omega joined New Japan. And we held a house show. And I do forget how charismatic of a writer Mick Foley actually is. Let's continue to the next show. The fact that I was no runner was soon discovered, and I began taking to bailing out on the far side of the track and hiding in the woods for a couple of hours. I threw the shot put and discus too, but one look at my shoulder development should tell you how I farted at the endeavour. I'll be truly honest with you, it is how I fared at the endeavour, but I just thought given Mick Foley, he just said farted and I jumped the gun reading that one. One day before practice, I was talking to fellow BP John McNulty, who was nicknamed McNugget in honour of the McDonald's food of questionable origin. Tracker, slick guy said, before adding, you might be the slowest guy in school. Mike Rotundas, should we go through... Oh, let me put my bookmark back. There's things we can do in between. So, John Bailey, you can just continue being in Nightmare Factory. I understand it's too small, but Anna G is no longer injured. Shazza wants to be called up. Let's check what's going on in WWE. So we'll start with NXT UK. Kenny Williams and Morgan Webster are the tag champions. Ginny is women's champion, and Mark Andrews is NXT UK champion. NXT itself has been absolutely killing us in the ratings. The Dusty Rhodes Classic was won by Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. Nothing's happened in the women's. I didn't know they had a women's Dusty Rhodes Classic. Did they still run it? Biff Busick is NXT champion. Throw those fingers up. Fucking love Only Larkin. Steve Cutler is North American. Oh, double champion Biff Busick. Hell yeah. And Tinara Conti, who I'm generally just a big fan of, is NXT Women's. You leave soon, so we might have to finagle your contract. WWE, Andre the Giant for 2 years has been won by Roman Reigns. Money in the Bank was Randy Orton. Royal Rumble was last won by... I'm confused as to how there's 2 and 3. But... Oh, because he won there. Oh, I'm a big dumb idiot. If Roman Reigns won 3 Royal Rumbles, I'd have been raging. Women's Money in the Bank was Bliss. Women's Rumble was Lynch. Becky Lynch. I didn't know there was a Women's Battle Royale. Samoa Joe. I knew Xavier Woods won it at one point, and I was like, oh. But Samoa Joe, fair play. Rip Fowler is Cruiserweight Champion. IC is Samir Singh. We truly are in the best era. The Good Brothers are Tag Champions. Becky Lynch is Raw Women's. Kendrick and Gallagher are kind of a cool team. If Gallagher wasn't like a baddie, that'd be a great team. Sometimes I see him around Manchester, and I just kind of walk past him. Ronda Rousey is SmackDown Women's Champion. Nakamura is US. Rollins is Universal. Fucking finally beating the... What is it? 3-year reign of Brock Lesnar. And Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are Tag Champions. I forget how long actually a lot of those women's titles have been around. I know I agreed, but I just want to get in shape for lacrosse. John thought it over before saying the words that would have a profound effect on my life. Why don't you go out for wrestling? He wondered. Even if you never have a match, it will get you in better shape than track will. Wrestling? Now that was an idea. With my father as the school district's athletic director, I had grown up watching amateur wrestling, in addition to the fake stuff on TV. I knew Coach Jim well, as he had coached my brother for 2 years, and also has been my instructor for driver's education. Hell, I'd even considered the team for the local newspaper and babysat the coach's children on a couple of occasions. In addition, my living room matches with my brother John had taught me techniques that would prove invaluable on the mat. In gym class, I'd even dominated a school bully so bad they begged me not to pin him and ruin his reputation. After that, Rob Pillar and I always had a special bond. Even though, if I had to do it all over again, I would have pinned his ass. What the hell, I said laughing to McNulty. I'll do it. I went out for the team and had the time of my life. I loved it. I loved the competition and the pressure, and the knowledge that whatever I did was done on my own. I highly advised any kid to wrestle, as I learned more about being a man during one season on the mats than I had in the 17 previous years put together. A lot of athletes won't go out for wrestling because of the potential ego and damage it can do. I don't know, Matt Seidel. I'm really trying to remember how much per show does actually work out quite better just to have him on a handshake. Matt Seidel isn't even still with AEW anymore, is he? Sweet, we have Dynamite tonight. We can stop the reading of Mick Foley. Have a nice day. Boom. We are straight in with a Luchasaurus Wardlow Lumberjack match. So no one gets the night off. We are in the COVID era, so I'm more than happy with Daly's place. Booking team meeting, there's nothing we need to do. DDP ran some drills for 7 students. Cody also ran it for 7 students. The word backstage is that Sean Spears and Tully Blanchard have been getting on particularly well. Ricky Starks and Preston Vance are now travel buddies. Trent and Jungle Boy have been hanging out. And the locker room phase has been complete. As always, let's start with our AEW Dynamite opening. It's just a little pre-taped video. I like having, especially when there's a match first on the show, I like having a little opening. Just to kind of, I don't know, the structure. It looks nicer when I go through my history of matches. Sweet. Improvised. I know someone's going to complain. Can we do... Is a lumberjack match even on here? No. I think we can just do a one-on-one. It doesn't actually make that much difference. Like, I could stick loads of people at ringside, but it's not that crazy. So we have a 20-minute time limit. Luchasaurus against Wardlow. Luchasaurus does a shooting star press into the other lumberjacks. MJF tries to get involved, but Jungle Boy knocks him off the ring apron. Both men are back in the ring. Wardlow then low blows Luchasaurus and does the F10 for the 3 count. I think 10 minutes should be fine. Wardlow wins, but it is tainted. He is evil. After the match, the Lumberjacks enter the ring for a big brawl. It was then announced that Tony Khan said it'll be MJF against Jungle Boy at Fyter Fest. All the Lumberjacks enter for a big brawl. MJF vs Jungle Boy is announced. I guess Luchasaurus, Marco, MJF, and Wardlow. Don't really need to throw a bunch of random people in. Britt Baker is shown behind a plexiglass shield, drinking on her role model trailer. I'm just going to write Britt Baker is shown ringside drinking. Really all that needs to be done. So we can have her and Rebel on character development, and I guess Big Swole off screen. Inevitably something's going to happen. And up next is Shida against Red Velvet. Shida and Penelope Ford exchange words at ringside, and Shida attempts to attack Ford. Shida puts Red Velvet in the Falcon Arrow and gets the 3 count. She then goes to the ringside, jumps the guardrail, and attacks Ford. Both women brawl as the talent try to break it up. It looks like Ricky Stark got his eye poked as he kept putting his hand over it. It's quite fun. So literally a minute straight. Poor Red Velvet. What was even the point? I could have used anyone. Shida goes straight over to Ford. The 2 brawl with wrestlers breaking it up. Nice. God, there's someone straight screaming outside my door. And Penelope Ford. I guess Red Velvet on a non-speaking role. We'll get you in there. I just want to say thank you again to Tuggy for raiding. It does mean the world, and I appreciate it beyond relief. Ironically, it's Tuggy24, and there's currently 24 viewers. So that's quite sweet. Oh, fuck, it just went straight down to 23. I shouldn't have said a fucking thing. We have the 2020 Fyter Fest press conference with Cody and Jake Hager. Hager has not shown up. Arn Anderson takes questions from the wrestling media.
Arn gives his take on Jake Hager, how it's not his time, and says Cody is ready to face Hager and can beat him. Cody talks about the incomplete TNT title and is interrupted by Jake Hager showing off his wife. Cody and Hager face off. Hager puts his fist up. And then a glass of water is thrown in Cody's face. What a boring press conference. 2020 Fighter Fest. I also hate Fighter Fest because it's such an outdated meme that I just it would have worked had Fighter Fest never happened. Because Fighter Fest itself is a fine name. Press conference with Cody and Jake Hager. Hager's wife attacks Cody. She's the one that throws water in Cody's face, that's fine. So Cody, cutting a promo with Arn. Let's have Brandy, Jake Hager, and Arn. Ah, is that everyone? Arn, Brandy, Cody, Hager. Yeah, I guess so. It's a pre-taped outside broadcaster. We then go to a video package with Sonny Kiss out driving with Joey Janela. Let's just make them a team. Oh, there it is, Janela. No, it's not. I don't know why I got confused. Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. Face heel doesn't really matter. I think we have that on loosely enforced. So we do have Brody Lee and Colt Cabana against Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. I'll add in that vignette after. Cabana goes for the roll up on Janela, but only gets a 2. Kiss is on the top rope again and takes out Cabana. Lee then gives a boot to the face. Back in the ring, Lee gives Janela a discus lariat and Cabana goes for the pin to get the 3 count. Hell yeah. We can probably make this a wild brawl. Brody, we'll stick Colt over. He could do with a pin. Vignette hyped the team of Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. Have them show a little bit of... I like Joey Janela. Pre-taped video, outside broadcast, just 1 minute. Character development? I don't know how much of a difference most of these things make. So Jonah runs out and attacks Sonny Kiss. Janela tries to save, but is also attacked. So we have Jonah Rock instead of Lance Archer in the save. As soon as it got to the point where Lance Archer was meant to debut, he either broke his leg or his neck, so he's out for just a full year. So I very quickly had to scramble and just go, I was like, who will work? There's probably plenty of better people, but Jonah Rock, he was there at the time. So Jonah, Sonny, Joey Janela. 2 minutes should be fine. I remember this as a loose kind of feud. I miss up that so much. And also just not going anywhere. Nice. We then have FTR against SCU. FTR comes to the ring in their pickup trucks. Aren't they good? Who is SCU? It is Daniels and... Oh, Daniels and Kazarian. I always have to check each time where I'm going to put the wrong people in. I feel like this would be an absolute banger of a match. It doesn't seem to go on long anyway. Cash Wheeler is tagged in and they double team Daniels for a 2 count. Kazarian is tagged back in. SCU double teams Harwood and only get a 2 count as well. Daniels gives Harwood the angel wings and goes for the... Alright, I feel like this is the reason why I complain. Daniels gives Harwood an angel wings, goes for the 2 count, but only gets the 2 count. FTR comes back and gives the Goodnight Express on Daniels and gets the 3 count. I understand that this is probably written live and then posted, but you can still edit after the fact and just kind of fix these little bits. I'm going to stick this as 14 minutes, steal the show, just because I think these boys would absolutely fucking kill it. Post-match, Cash Wheeler gets on the mic to give themselves praise and address the tag team division and put everyone on notice. The Butcher and the Blade are shown in FTR's truck and threaten to trash it. They challenge FTR to an F-man to... Maybe I am the problem. They challenge FTR to an 8-man tag match at Fyter Fest. We then go to the ring and the Lucha Bros attack FTR. The Bucks come out to the ring for the save. Lucha Brothers and then the Butcher and the Blade take off in FTR's truck. It'll be FTR and the Young Bucks against Butcher and the Blade and their partners Ray Fenix and Pentagon Jr. at Fyter Fest. Butcher and Blade challenge FTR to an 8-man tag at Fyter Fest. Lucha Bros jump FTR. Nice. So for the most part, there isn't too much really changed in this save than what is actually done in real life. If we go through titles, we have the Casino Ladder match. Tag team, first champions were Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian, and they lost it to Omega and Hangman. First champion, Chris Jericho, lost to John Moxley. Women's, Riho, Nyla Rose, Shida. TNT, Cody Rhodes. We can go through some past shows as well. Lucha Bros, Jump FTR, that's fine. So we'll have the Blade, the Bunny, the Butcher, Dax, Cash, Penta, Ray Fenix, and Matt and Nick Jackson. 4 minutes should be fine. It can be improvised. So if we go to our show history, all shows, we obviously started with All In. MJF defeated Matt Cross. Darby Allin defeated Luchasaurus. Dashwood defeated Rain, Chelsea and Britt Baker. Cody defeated Jeff Jarrett. Paige defeated Janela. Walter defeated ZSJ. So it's a little different for All In. Omega defeated Penta. Chris Jericho attacks Omega. Okada defeated Skrull. And then Kota Ibushi and the Young Bucks defeated Ray Fenix, Penta, and Bandido. Sorry, Ray Fenix, Rey Mysterio, and Bandido. Q Double or Nothing. SCU defeated Morishima and Strong Hearts. Britt Baker defeated Kong, Kylie, and ODB. Best Friends defeated Jack Evans and Jimmy Jacobs. Cody defeated Dustin. We then have the Hung Bucks because Matt Jackson himself was out for a full year. Similarly, if you move over to this side, Penta and Bandido were a team because Ray Fenix was injured for a year. So thankfully, it was a long time between Double or Nothing and the actual start of Dynamite. But both these teams showed up a whole lot more. And then we have Jericho against Omega. Cue the first Fyter Fest. Obviously, Kenny Omega, Nick Jackson,
and Kota against Pac and the Mexa Brothers. Cody went to a tournament draw. Jeff Cobb was there for a bit. John Moxley defeated Brian Cage. I think this was an early Cage. I can't remember who this was originally. Fight for the Fallen. Golden Bucks again. God, that's an awful picture, isn't it? Defeated the Brotherhood. Mexa Brothers. We then have... I made this show myself because I really wanted between Fight for the Fallen. We were very quickly losing popularity and money as well. So I created a New Japan show. Riho and Shida defeated Martinez and Ivelisse. Will Ospreay defeated Penta and Fomita. Omega defeated Shingo. Hiromu and Kota defeated Ortiz and Santana. Jay White defeated Cody and Jericho defeated Tanahashi. And then on night 2, Baker and Rose defeated ODB and Leva Bates. Juice and the Golden Bucks defeated Puma King, Shingo and Fomita. Jay White defeated Daniels. Cage and Ishii defeated Strong Hearts. Penta defeated Ospreay. Omega defeated ZSJ. Kong defeated Caitlyn. And Tanahashi and the Brotherhood defeated Jericho, Pac and Spears. Then finally, before the start of Dynamite, and the shows you all know and love today, we had All Out. So SCU defeated Jurassic Express. Pac defeated Omega by stoppage. Darby defeated Janela and PCO in a hardcore match. Dark Orders defeated Best Friends. Riho defeated Shida. Cody defeated Spears. Again, Mexa Brothers against the Golden Bucks. The curse of losing Ray Fenix and Matt Jackson so close. To be fair, I don't know if Cota's hasn't really done much if we go to AEW. He's kind of just filled in. So he was always there at the start and then has slowly zooped his way off. Jericho defeated Hangman to become the first AEW champion. And then our Dynamite, the way it has been. So I think the biggest change might have been at that beginning, and then as the show's gone on, the only thing is kind of there's no Lance Archer. So we go to Kenny Omega and Hangman Page in the Best Friends video package, building up their tag match at Fyter Fest. Video package, pipes, Omega and Hangman versus Best Friends. So Chuck, Trent, Hangman, Kenny, nice. Just a pre-taped video backstage for a minute. We then have another video package with Mox and Cage building up the AEW Championship match. So we'll do John Mox, Brian Cage, and Taz against a pre-taped. I'll have this one in the ring. 1 minute. We then have a very quick, it can be improvised, very quick Brian Cage squash match. If he's well known, that'd be great. It is. So he can beat Men. Danshoku Dino should do literally just a singular minute. Brian Cage, domination. So to make sure we haven't done this match before. We have, but it was a pre-show tag match. That's fine. Taz takes the mic and badmouths John Moxley, and that Fyter Fest is coming, and Moxley's title is in jeopardy. Taz gets on the mic and says Moxley's title is in jeopardy. I've never watched an episode of Jeopardy, so I don't really understand the show. But I think it's the one that goes show me potato salad, so I'll take that. Taz, Brian Cage, and John Moxley off screen. Again, 2 minutes is perfect. Backstage, Brody Lee. It's the same. I don't know why the writing's really getting to me today. But backstage, Mr. Brody Lee is backstage, giving praise to Colt Cabana, who makes a challenge to SCU for Lee, Stu Grayson, and Cabana at Fyter Fest. Colt seems hesitant. Backstage, Brody Lee challenges SCU on behalf of himself, Cabana, and I'm going to do Uno. Brody cutting a promo with Colt, Uno, and Grayson on Frankie, Scorpio, and Daniels. If I could just pick like SCU stable, make the job so much easier. I don't know if it's just too hard for Ryland to put it in. The commentary team goes through the card for night 1 and night 2 of Fyter Fest, and Shivani is handed a note by Britt Baker, Badmouth, and Big Swole. Baker, Badmouths, Big Swole, who dumps trash on her. Sweet. We just have Britt, Big, and Corny Shivani. 2 minutes should be perfect. Santana with Ortiz against Broken Matt Hardy. This is another change in between this and real life. Matt Hardy is retired. If we check recent news. So he got chronic knee pain on August of 2019. Suffered a mild concussion then in September. And then hyperextended that same knee in October and just had to retire. Like his knees were fucked. He very quickly was inducted into the Hall of Immortals. Left WWE. Got hired by us. And I thought, oh, I really need a Hardy. He won't come out of retirement. So I just had to get Jeff instead. And all we're missing out is that weird feud where I think Randy Orton put stuff through his ears. So we have Santana against Jeff Hardy. I don't know what I'm going to do when the Hardys actually debut. I don't know who I can replace him with. Ortiz attacks Hardy with a sock filled with baseballs. Both men then attack Hardy with a street sweeper. Private Party. Oh wait, is this after? I'm sorry. Don't want to give out all the time, especially when I have the most amount of views I've ever had. But so this, he's now writing this without telling me who the winner is, and Hardy then gives Santana 2 side effects and goes for the pin, but only gets a 2 count. Hardy again goes for the pin, but still only gets a 2 count. Santana slams Hardy and goes for a 3 count, but only gets a 2 count. Hardy then counters and pins Hardy. Someone's got to work him here. So I think Jeff Hardy wins. So I think there's our main event as well, but we're not going to do it. So Jeff wins. Boom. We still need a storytelling, don't we? Yes, that's fine. And then Ortiz attacks Hardy with a sock filled with baseballs. Private Party come to the ring and save Hardy with Santana and Ortiz leaving the ring. Santana and Ortiz attack the Hardy Boys. with Private Party making the save. Perfect. Santana, Ortiz, Jeff, Matt, and is it Mark Quinn and Isaiah Casti? I love that these boys like dip for like the straight longest time. I don't even know if they're still with AEW. We then have the face-off between Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho. They just kind of have a face-off and then fight. Cassidy runs into Jericho and Jericho goes backwards into a table. The bloody Cassidy stands tall as his music hits. OC and Chris Jericho face off. The two exchange small talk before brawling with OC getting bust open. Nice, it all fits. So it's literally just Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho. Is this set in a little bit for the bubbly? A little bit of the bubbly storyline. It is indeed. So let's have a completely separate main event. 2v2. Or a 4v4 kind of works, I think. Let's do a 3v3. I'm still unsure what match I'm doing. That's why I'm kind of working it through. Who's our major stars? Exclude already booked. We're not doing John Moxley. We could do Omega, Hangman, and who's in the Elite? Cody. I don't think I've said it as a stable. Omega, Hangman, and Dustin against Pac, Penta, and Phoenix. Yeah, that works. How long do we need? 16 minutes, easy. Let's put this to 19 then. Let's stick Pentagon Jr. over loser. Dustin Rhodes, storytelling. Jobs are good. That should be a good enough match. I'm going to still put that there and hopefully have a decent enough show. I would like to stick... Oh, have I got Shida down as a heel? Where's Shida? Is Shida already wrestling? She is. Right, that's fine. Instead, let's have Riho and face Big Swole, it's got to be, going into the match. Taking on Sakura and Evilise. Pre-show. And we'll have Big Swole get the win. 1-on-1. Let's have Britt Baker beat Caitlyn. Perfect. Pre-show. Britt Baker can go over. And finally... Jake Hager, Jack Evans, Evil Uno. Jungle Boy could definitely do the win. Let's stick him against Sean Spears. We need to get Jungle Boy slightly further up the card. How is his popularity? Jungle Boy. Pop. Track. So it is only getting higher. It's not like it's dipped at any point. Just a lot more popular people. That's fine. Book analysis is just going to say that Sean Spears is angry. That's sweet. Let's continue. So an bout that had decent wrestling but little heat. Riho and Big Swole defeated Sakura and Evilise when Swole pinned Sakura with a super kick. Britt Baker defeated Caitlyn with a curb stomp. And Jungle Boy defeated Sean Spears in 10 minutes by pinfall. We have our little AEW Dynamite opening. And Wardlow defeated Luchasaurus in 10:03 with a handful of tights. All the Lumberjacks enter for a big brawl, with MJF and Jungle Boy being announced for Fyter Fest. Britt Baker is shown ringside drinking. And Shida defeated Red Velvet in 52 seconds. Shida goes... No, I accidentally skipped it. Shida goes straight for Ford as the two fight, and wrestlers pull them apart. Brandy Rhodes is a gimmick that's getting stale, I agree. 2020 Fyter Fest press conference with Cody and Jake Hager. Hager's wife attacks Cody. In a decent wild brawl, the Dark Order defeated Kiss and Janela, when Colt pinned Joey with a Colt 45. A vignette hypes the team of Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. Jonah runs out to attack Sonny Kiss. Janela tries to save but is attacked. Fucking, I knew that would have happened. That always happens when I don't do stuff in order. In a good match, FTR defeated SCU when Cash submitted Daniels. Oh, everyone almost got the same rating. The match was designed so they could go out and steal the show. The Butcher and the Blade challenge FTR to an F-Man tag match at Fyter Fest. The Lucha Bros jump FTR with the Young Bucks making the save. A video package hypes Omega and Hangman against the Best Friends. In a separate video package, hyped Mox and Cage building up to the AEW Championship match. Cage defeated Dino in 101 with a flying elbow drop, as Taz gets on the mic and says Moxley's title is in jeopardy. Backstage, Brody Lee challenged SCU on behalf of himself, Cabana and Uno. And Baker badmouthed Swole, who dumps trash on her. Jeff Hardy defeated... To be fair, this did a lot better. This maybe could have been the main event. Jeff Hardy defeated Santana in 13:49 with a twist of hate, as Santana and Ortiz attack the Hardy Boys, with Private Party making the save. Finally, in our main event, Penta, Pac and Fenix defeated Dustin Rhodes and Omega and Hangman, when Penta pinned Dustin with a Fear Factor. Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho face off. The two exchange small talk before brawling, with OC getting bust open. Hell yeah, we needed this show. Gonna dedicate this show to Tuggy. We needed to get that pop up and we did, boy. Hell yeah. Look at that. Maybe we won't be 9th in the world anymore. Boom. Class. So I have some other saves planned for this. I mean, obviously we have some saves that we're running anyway. We have this. What else are we run? The 1992 one, which I might try and do. I might kind of just get everything down to one show. Or is it 94? Could maybe do some... Is it 1970? We have the 2008 mod. And there's also some other stuff I wanted to try. I don't think anything is life is a spoiler. I want to do like NWA from day one. Part of me was kind of tempted to do MLW from the point of revival. It would have been cool to do it in the mid-2000s, but alas. What else was planned? I have the Diablo X mod, so that would have been pretty cool to do, or will be pretty cool to do. I haven't downloaded the newest Real World Chronicles just because I just don't see myself doing something super modern. But you never know. We can always download something. Few people are frustrated. Oh, yeah. I'm just getting excited for future things. Like, I downloaded a lot of mods. I was worried that was about Kenny Omega. Any recent news. Elton Gunn. Tony Hawk entered the wrestling world, thank God. So, Billy Stark's developmental request. We got a 1.69 on TV. And Jungle Boy's pretty good, you should push him. Thanks, Joe. Pay rise request from Chelsea Green. You got 75% of it. So, Sean Spears, angry. We do eventually lose him, but I feel like we keep him around for a while. He's extremely happy with the 30,000. I ideally don't want to give him it, but I also don't want him to leave. He doesn't do anything. He leaves for NXT. If he wants to hand in his notice, he can. I don't care enough. If we look at our finances, we made a profit once before we had any broadcast revenue. And then how we lost $1 million on these 2 times, I'll never know. I might have spent a lot releasing workers to try and save money. And then if we don't hold a pay-per-view, it gets really bad. Media? What did we spend? I think we might have cancelled some deals. Don't know. But we finally made a profit, which is nice. What's media? Fine. I was just trying to work it out. We will eventually lose money when I can buy Ring of Honor. Not bad enough. So what else? Yes, we need to check the next show. So what is the next show? So we are on... Last one was 24th. June. Oh, is it the 1st of July? Is that the first Fighter Fest show? It is, right. 1st of July is Fighter Fest Night 1. That's exciting. Does anyone debut at Fighter Fest? Jericho comes out to start. He will join commentary for Night 1. MJF against Wardlow. That's not true, it's MJF against Jurassic Express. Joey Janela and Lance Archer brawl. Jake Hager against Cody Rhodes. Oh, Darby Allin's shown doing some stunts with Tony Hawk. From the looks of it, it doesn't look like anyone. Sweet. Debuts. So this AEW Dynamite 40 is Fighter Fest. Night 1. So we can just kind of, I guess, continue. Even though Fighter Fest Night 2 was filmed straight after, it does air the next week. So if anyone debuts on Night 2, we kind of have them. Right, so we can now go on to our Mankind book. Perfect. The only issue with doing a 12-hour stream is that there is also life stuff in between it. Where did we get up to? I went out for the team and had the time of my life. Who wants to lose, or worse, be pinned in front of his friends?
especially if he just ran for touchdowns a month earlier on the football team. I was moderately successful right from the start, as I defeated and pinned bigger and much more experienced opponents with my unorthodox style I had learned in the Foley living room. One match in particular sticks out in my mind during this time, in the green Melville singlet. I was sick as hell one night, and was not even scheduled to wrestle. But the meet was close and it would be decided by the final match. Coach looked at me, and I looked back, and without saying a word, I started warming up. I looked across the mat at Artie Mims, who was a big, muscular, black guy with an imposing mohawk that made him look like Mr. T. Remember, this was back in early 1983, before Mr. T ended up in the Where Are They Now file. Mims was ranked second in the country. I put my headgear on, and I walked over to Coach, who patted me on the back and said, "We need a pin, Mick. A pin to win." I nodded and went out there to get the job done. Actually, this is one of those good news, bad news story. The good news was, there definitely was a pin. The bad news was, I wasn't the one doing the pinning. I put up a hell of a fight, but my double underhook into body scissors backfired, and I ended up throwing myself on my back at the very start of the third period. After nearly 2 minutes of fighting, the inevitable, I tried to breathe, and with no air entering my lungs, a moment later, I heard a slap on the mat and I was done. I looked up at the crowd and saw a few of my friends with sadness in their eyes. I spotted a few girls whom I'd actually lusted over, and guessed they weren't lusting over me. I got up slowly and shook Mims's hand. I then went over and shook the coach's hand. As he put his arm around me, he said, "It's alright, Mick. You know why?" he said, as I smiled a disappointed smile. "It's alright because that's the best I've seen you wrestle." I was laughing to myself because I couldn't believe how well you were doing against that guy. I walked away disappointed, but proud. I continued walking down 2 flights of stairs to the wrestling room where we practiced under hot conditions. Only during meets did we venture upstairs to the gym. I sat down in the empty room and I cried my eyes out. I hadn't cried in almost 3 years, when I found out that Renee Verger was going to the junior high prom with Chris Lenz instead of me. It would take 7 more years after the death of my brother's cat Snowy until I shed tears again. Nowadays, forget it. I cried during the Christmas episode of Happy Days, the one where Richie spots Fonzie heating up a can of ravioli by himself on Christmas Eve. Yeah, and I cry at the end of Old Yeller also. John McNulty came into the room as I was about all tapped out, and he made me laugh at some of his weak humour. I got dressed and drove my brother's old Mustang home. My parents had visited my brother in Indiana, so a few friends came over to cheer me up. Hell yeah. I hope you're all enjoying this reading, because I feel like it does actually make it go by a bit faster. But I actually don't think we're there yet. Ooh, Bill Morrissey and Charlie Dempsey had an enormous bust-up. Ooh, should we check out our developmental? So if we go down to Nightmare Factory. So we felt insignificant. That's a shame. To be fair, we were always going to fall to start with. So kind of Sato Miura walked out on us, but stays. I guess she went to NXT. So obviously we were unable to buy Ring of Honor. And I had a lot of people on the roster that weren't getting used. And then I saw Eve, who was just drastically in debt, and I thought I'll take them over. I made Tom Pritchard CEO. I made Tracy Smothers head booker and I replaced Tracy Smothers with Dan Reed. Oh, no, I did make Tracy Smothers head booker. Emi Sakura was added to the booking team, so was Sato Miura. Nicole Matthews, following this, decided to walk out. And we held our first show, which we review the results. Anna Jay defeated Charlie Evans. Puff and Jun Kasai defeated Mike Seidel and Anthony Bowens. Nick Wayne, Sonny Kiss and Jonah defeated Dempsey, Bennett and Griff Garrison.
Miranda Relays and Chelsea Green defeated the Owen Twins for the Nightmare Factory Women's Tag Team. Priscilla Kelly and Sami Jane defeated Millie McKenzie and Jetta. Kylie Ray defeated Sato Miura. Viper defeated Tennille to retain the Nightmare Factory Women's. And Cage defeated Matt Seidel for the Nightmare Victory title. Fast forward to our most recent show. So we have a weekly show and then we have pay-per-views. If we check the pay-per-view. Sadie Gibbs defeated Megan Bain. Lee Johnson and Mike Seidel defeated Bowens and Nagogo. Nick Wayne, Puff and Jun Kasai defeated Baron Black and Cataclysm, who is Kevin Bennett and Max Caster. Charlie Dempsey defeated Austin Gunn and Griff Garrison. Nicole Savoy defeated Jordan Grace. Andrew Everett defeated Ethan Page by countout in a match which was for the Nightmare Factory title. And Morrissey defeated Matt Seidel. And on our most recent show, Priscilla Kelly defeated Kaylee Ray to retain the women's. Viper defeated Tennille and Sami Jane to retain the women's IC. Chelsea Green and Nicole Savoy defeated Kylie Ray and Jordan Grace. Bennett, Seidel and Morrissey defeated Johnson, Bowens, Nagogo. And Andrew Everett defeated Austin Gunn to retain the title. So if we just check our titles, just to go through them. Nightmare Factory was Brian Cage. He got called up. It's now Andrew Everett. Matt Seidel was IC champion. And now it's Bill Morrissey. Big Bill. Daniel Garcia and Kevin Blackwood are the tag champs. Women's is Priscilla Kelly. Obviously we kept the reign. IC is Viper. Tag team is vacant. I guess someone got injured. Or Miranda Relays left. Unsure. He won. Was won by Bill Morrissey. And she won. Was won by Chelsea Green. So people, if we're not going to use them yet, they've debuted, go down here. But no one's happy with it because it's insignificant. Like, I get it that if we check Nightmare Factory 9, 66 people showed up to watch this show. Not great. If we check the size, how are they doing? I think they're getting there. They were originally 0 everywhere. Oh, it's in the UK, that's why. But we've moved it to the Mid-South. Right, that makes sense. Where are shows being put on? Mid-South. Mid-South. That'll be right. We did move this thing, but we bought a company just to move it. What's going on here? Contract negotiations with Matt Seidel. You can go down to Nightmare. I know, but we need to build it up. Let's continue. 2 more days and then we're at Fighter Fest. We are now at the 1 hour 40. I just want to thank everyone that has stuck around. Means the world. Only 10-ish more hours to go. I actually had a good time, and I remember that night with my friends warmly. Conspicuous by his absence, however, was John Imbalioso, who skipped out on his distraught buddy to see Taboo 2 at the Rocky Point Cinema with Renee Verga stealing Chris Lenz. What a guy. The sequel to my all-time favourite Kay Parker film, He Leaves Me Hanging. I finally did get to kiss Renee Verga at Imbalioso's wedding in 1989. I saw her recently and told her she was going to be in my book. I also asked her if she'd seen the Chris Lenz issue of the TV Guide. I really only had one problem with wrestling. I simply liked it too much that I lost my desire to play lacrosse.
I had been a big pro wrestling fan for a long time, but never considered it a career option. Now, however, with a little bit of amateur background behind me, I began to see the possibilities. I began studying tapes of my favourite wrestlers. I actually became obsessed with the sport/art form, and began to believe I could actually do it. In June '83, I attended my first match at Madison Square Garden to see Jimmy Snuka battle Don Morocco in a bloody double DQ. I was hooked. I didn't need lacrosse anymore. I had pro wrestling. Thanks, Mick Foley. So we now are halfway through the year. Kota Ibushi is the male wrestler of the year so far, wrestling for New Japan and AEW. Company of the year so far is New Japan. I feel like they're going to sweep all the awards. Sato Miura and Hikaru, a female tag team of the year. Sorry, like things. Aleister Black and Ricochet, the male tag team of the year. Match of the year was Kota Ibushi defeating Jay White in New Japan in February. Tessa Blanchard is female young wrestler of the year. Jamelo Pantera, male young wrestler. Female veteran is Mickie James. Male veteran is Tanahashi. Female wrestler is Io Shirai. Male independent somehow is Teddy Hart. Female independent is Vanelli. I felt like that was a Lucha Underground picture. That's why I was so confused. Why is Teddy Hart an independent wrestler? He does wrestle for GCW and AAA, to be fair. Oh, Master Wato's gone home. Moose had some backstage drama with Kongo Kong. Sweet. So if we check how Impact Wrestling is doing, should we check Impact in general? Impact Wrestling. So you're going to recognise a lot of names here. Knockouts is Tessa Blanchard. World is Brian Cage. Dave and Jake Christ are tag team. And X Division is Sami Callihan. And I guess the other big promotion is MLW. Battle Riot was won by Tom Lawler. Joey Ryan is the National Open. The Opera Cup was won by Sami Callihan. ACH is world champion, beating Rich Swann. Wheeler Yuta is middleweight, and the Briscoes are world tag team. Where was I feel like one of the Usos. Read Josh Fatty. Or is it just Jey Uso? Yes, Jey Uso is currently NWA World Heavyweight Champion. What's the other Uso called? Is it John Uso? If I can search Uso. Yeah, one's in WWE wrestling. The other one is NWA World Champion. You tell me who's winning. Solo's unemployed though. Alright. We have Fighter Fest Night 1. MJF comes out with Wardlow and says he's so sick and tired of having to beat Jurassic Express over and over. He says that Wardlow proved how green Luchasaurus is last week, and that at Double or Nothing, he carried Jungle Boy to the best match he'll ever have. There was some heat between Big Swole and Excalibur. Ricky Morton was not happy with Excalibur. Excalibur and Sonny Kiss had an over-the-top karaoke duel. Earl Hebner and Jake Roberts got into an argument. Dustin Rhodes and Caitlyn got into an argument. DDP ran some drills, and so did Cody. Nice. For night 1, let's do some team bonding.
All it did was strengthen a whole bunch of relationships, which is nice. So instead of AEW Dynamite opening, it's AEW Fighter Fest Night 1. Hell yeah. Let's make this a hype, pre-taped video for 1 minute. Just getting all the usual stars. Just imagine this is literally just like the Dynamite opening video. Oh, nice. Tremperetta getting one up there. Improvised. Sweet. Jungle Boy. Not Jungle Boy. MJF says he is sick of beating a sick Express. And he carried Jungle Boy to his best match. That fits. MJF, cutting a promo, Wardlow, it's not character. Lucha off screen, Jungle off screen, Marco off screen. You see Marco's stunt is now just kind of a car salesman. Is then MJF and Wardlow against Jurassic Express with Marco's stunt. Wardlow tags in and hits a swanton bomb on Lucha. Lucha still kicks out. MJF tries to hit Lucha with his ring, but Lucha ducks and shoves him into Wardlow. Jungle Boy pulls MJF to the floor, and Lucha hits the tail whip on Wardlow, followed by a springboard swinging DDT from Jungle Boy. Luchasaurus hits the chokeslam, then the standing moonsault for the pin. I think 11 minutes should do. Let's stick Jungle Boy over Wardlow. Perfect. MJF's probably going to be unhappy. Oh, he isn't. Joey Janela and Lance Archer are brawling in the crowd, with Sonny Kiss and referees trying to separate them. Janela and Jonah are fighting in the crowd with Kiss and referees separating them. I should probably make this a new storyline, but I honestly don't remember how long it lasts. Sonny Kiss and Jonah. We then get a hype package highlighting Shida against Penelope Ford. A video package hypes Penelope Ford versus Hikaru Shida. Nice. Boop. Penelope. Hikaru. Just a pre-taped video, singular minute should do. And then we have the match. AEW World Women's Championship. Superbad Girl, Penelope Ford, against Akira Shida. Ford grabs the women's title, but the referee stops her. Sabin comes running out with a kendo stick, but Shida sees her coming and destroys her with a roaring elbow. Ford comes in and hits the back handspring stunner. Shida kicks out. Ford goes to the top and attempts a diving moonsault, but Shida moves and hits a shining wizard to the back of the head. Shida follows with another Falcon Arrow, but Ford kicks out. Shida then hits another flying knee for the win to retain the Women's Championship. 12 should do. AEW World Women's. Stick Shida over. Taz breaks down Jon Moxley's paradigm shift finisher, but says Cage is too big for him to be able to hit it. Taz breaks down the paradigm shift, but says Cage is too big for Taz to hit it. Cage is too big for Mox to hit it. Perfect. Taz cutting a promo on Jon Moxley. Brian Cage is also just off screen. Backstage, 1 minute should do. We then have Rock Hard Jake Hager, my apologies, with Catalina. I'm going to take it Catalina Hager is not in the mod. No. I will shortlist it though. Could be a good young wrestler for the future if anyone gets injured. I honestly thought... Oh no, I was going to say I thought Jake Hager was with Melissa Santos, but that's Brian Cage. Jake Hager taking on Cody Rhodes for the TNT Championship. $18 minutes to make it storytelling. I mean, we can presume out of Victor, but I could be wrong. Cody goes back to the top, but Hager leaps with him and superplexes him off for a near fall. Hager puts Cody in the Patriot lock, but Cody manages to get the ropes. Catalina slaps Cody as the referee pulls Hager off. He does. And then Hager locks him back in the Patriot lock. Arn distracts the referee as Dustin runs out and punches Hager. Cody goes for the crossroads, but Hager's counters into the arm triangle. Cody manages to roll over and pin Hager. A video package of Darby Allin doing stunts is shown. Package of Darby Allin doing stunts is shown. Nice. Darby, cut promo, pre-tape, video, character development. Character development. Outside broadcast, 1 minute. Jobs are good. Hell yeah. We have Proud and Powerful against Private Party with Matt Hardy. I feel like I haven't set them as being with Matt. Proud and Powerful. Boop. Roster. Isaiah, manager Matt Hardy, and Mark Quinn. Manager Matt Hardy. Sweet. Orange Cassidy joins the announce booth to say nothing. That's quite a fun gimmick. Santana and Cassidy fight on the outside, with Santana tossing Cassidy into the guardrail. Santana tags himself in and Ortiz distracts the ref. Santana was going to hit Quinn with the slapjack, but Hardy comes in and pulls it away. Quinn rolls Santana up for near fall, but eats a series of super kicks. Proud and Powerful goes for the street sweeper, but Quinn blocks it, and Cassidy runs in and hits a sling blade on Ortiz. Private Party hit the gin and juice on Santana for the win. Hope we keep Proud and Powerful strong. Nice. Dasher interviews Adam Page and Kenny Omega. Page says he loves the best friends and they deserve a shot, but how much they deserve drives up once they get in the ring with him. Omega says they have defeated every team in AEW, and this week will be no different. Alicia interviews Omega and Page. Kenny says they have beaten every team in AEW. Alicia, interviewer. Kenny cutting a promo. Hangman cutting a promo. Chuck off screen. Trent off screen. Trying to work out if the music has stopped. Oh no, we've just moved into the next song. Hell yeah. How do the audio levels look? Feels quite high. Yeah, that seems quite high. That still feels reasonably high. Boom, boom, boom. This is the problem with having one monitor, is I just have to move back and screen. I'll do it a smidge lower. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, that's perfect. Hell yeah. Alicia interviews Omega and Paige. Kenny says Trent, Chuck, Kenny, Hangman, Alicia. Interview backstage. 3 minutes. Let's go. Why don't we have Dasher? Because we're WWE. That's absolutely fine. It is announced that Fight for the Fallen will take place on July 15th. And that is when Mox and Cage will face for the title instead of next week. Taz says that everyone probably assumes they're pissed off about this, but he says they're not. He says they don't care if Moxley politicked or kissed ass to get himself some extra time. Taz says he had a nice conversation with Tony Khan, and in that conversation, he learned that Mox is concerned with the health and well-being of everyone in AEW. He says he finds that weird, because Mox has tested twice and says he's negative. Taz says if he would bring his ass next week, he will get tested again, because AEW doesn't run a sloppy shop. Mox versus Cage is postponed. Taz says Mox is afraid of Cage, and he should be. Hell yeah. Taz cutting a promo on Tony Khan, John Moxley, and Brian Cage. It was probably just delayed due to COVID. Taz says Cage is going to break Moxley's brains in, beat Moxley's brains in, and take the title away from him. We then have Adam Page and Kenny Omega against the Best Friends. Where is Page and Omega? Omega and Hangman. Against Best Friends. Is this the main event? God, that's a long match. It is. 24 World Tag Team. I assume Best Friends. I think Best Friends could win. Omega rolls to the floor and Best Friends hug. Page hits a cowboy kick on Taylor, then exchanges strikes with him. Page hits a roaring elbow on Trent and goes for the powerbomb, but Trent counters into a roll-up for a near fall. Page hits the dead eye for a near fall, and then kills Trent with the bugshot lariat for the pin. AEW World Tag Team. Boom. After the match, FTR come down and offers Omega and Page beers in celebration, which Page happily accepts, and Omega pours the beer out. The Young Bucks run out and get between them as FTR are about to fight Omega. FTR come out to face off with Page and Omega. Kenny offends them with Bucks having to run out. It's kind of fit. It makes sense to me. There we go. Dax. Cash. Kenny. Hangman, Matt, and Nick. Improvised. Nice. We do have 9 more minutes, so we could squeeze a match or two in. It's the music stopped again. Billy Gunn. Let's do Billy, Austin, and Colin. Don't know why it paused. 3v3. Billy, Austin, and Colton taking on they could take on Kip Saban, Robert Martyr, and Sean Spears. How long do we need? 9 minutes, easy. Stick Billy Gunn over. And then I'm not sure what happens on the next show. But if we do women, I'd like to do Chris Statlander, Miranda. I probably called her up, that's why. Red Velvet and Rio. Honestly, super short. What can we do? 5 minutes. With Statlander going over. Boom. I have to cut 2. That's fine. Stick that there. Jobs are good. What does book analysis say? I don't have a wild brawl, mayhem, or car crash. We can make this the wild brawl. Nice. And then on the pre-show, Jungle Boy's already got his win. Let's stick Daniels over Evans. Daniels goes over. Let's stick I'm trying to think who gets like further up the card eventually. Let's have Anna J over Emi Sakura. And last but most certainly not least, let's stick Jonah. Oh, in fact, Orange Cassidy really needs the win. He can go over Bandido. Which I bet Bandido's not going to be happy about, but... Oh, nice. Sweet. Let's run it. Christopher Daniels defeated Jack Evans in 8:15 with an Angel Wings. Anna Jay defeated Emi Sakura in 4:57 with a Scissor Kick. And in a banger of a match, which probably should have been on the main card, OC defeated Bandido in 11:43 with a Superman Punch. Fyter Fest Night 1 opening. And MJF says he's sick of beating Jurassic Express. He says he carried Jungle Boy to his best match. In a decent match, Jurassic Express of Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy defeated MJF and Wardlow when Jungle Boy pinned Wardlow. Janela and Jonah are fighting in the crowd with Kiss and referees separating them. In a wild brawl that didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling, Billy and the Gun Kids defeated Sean Spears and the Nonconformists when Gunn pinned Robert Martyr with a Famouser. We have a video package hyping Penelope Ford against Hikaru Shida. And in a match which showed the two have good chemistry which helped lift it, Shida defeated Ford in 12:13 by submission with a Full Metal Muffler to make her first defense in the AEW World Women's title. Taz breaks down the paradigm shift, but Cage says it's too big for... Taz breaks down the paradigm shift, but says Cage is too big for Mox to hit it. In a bout of good heat and decent wrestling, Cody defeated Hager in 18:18 with a disaster kick to make defense number 4 of the TNT title. We have a video of Darby doing stunts, and Private Party defeat Proud and Powerful when Isaiah submitted Ortiz in a match which saw the two steal the show. Alicia interviews Omega and Paige, and Kenny says they have beaten every team in AEW. In a bout which had subpar wrestling and little heat, Statlander defeated Lays, Velvet and Rio when Statlander pinned Red Velvet with an Area 451. We find out that Mox vs Cage is postponed. Taz says that Mox is afraid of Cage, and he should be. And in our main event, in a good match, Omega and Hangman defeated Best Friends in 24:02 when Paige pinned Taylor with a buckshot lariat to make defense number 6 of the AEW World Tag Team titles. FTR come out to face off with Paige and Omega. Kenny offends them by not accepting a beer, and the Bucks have to run out. 73. Hell yeah, that one's for you, Tuggy. We're getting there, boy. Getting that pop-up. Maybe we'll finally get a decent TV deal in the end. So let's read the comments. Jim Bilby says, no one cuts a promo like Taz. Didn't mention Hager decking the ref. Rhodes boys going heel. And William
Chaduan said, this was 5 years ago, by the way. I would have had the belts change, but FTR getting a shot will work. FTR getting a shot will work. So let's quickly check AEW Dynamite for the 8th of July, night 2 of Fyter Fest. The show was pre-taped and wasn't live. No warming up in the bullpen tonight as we go straight to the ring. It's Private Party against Adam Page and Kenny Omega for a title match. That is fine. Joey Janela against Lance Archer. Darby Allin vignette. Cage and Taz do an interview. Oh, we get the TNT title on the next show. Do we have the TNT? We do need no more BS, and we plan on getting Christian. These boys will resign. Drake Maverick probably will. I've learned if it says gone or out of WWE, they usually are. But to resign means they will usually resign. Kalisto out of WWE. Oh, Wave completed its round. I don't know if it's getting other shows. Curtis Axel's going. Who's Rhodes Randleman and Greg Stubbins? NXT does usually beat us. 77. Ciampa and Dream defeated Riker and Ford. Keith Lee, Lorch and Birch. Keith Lee, Lorcan and Birch defeated Otis and Rage Inc. Rage Inc. being Kona Reeves and Raul Mendoza. Bianca defeated Joanne Carpenter. And Jacqueline Huerta defeated Jasmine Duke. New Japan have rehired the Great Wato. Oh, there's Greg Stubbins. What was the show? Scarlett Bordeaux and Karen Q defeated Mandy Leon and Tennille. Sabin and Brian Malonis defeated TK and Cheeseburger. Shane Taylor, Bruiser and Young defeated Vinny and Coast to Coast. Who's Clifford London? There's so many of these generated wrestlers that I'm just like, what's going on? I forget there's like multiple tapings. Oh, there it is. Rhodes Randleman and Greg Stubbins. Fucking. That kind of sums up Ring of Honor, isn't it? Sorry, I'm having a big stretch. Boop, boop, boop. All is fine. Evolve War Room. That's kind of a banger of a show, to be honest. Dynamite got a 1.54. Pretty good. Can we buy Ring of Honor yet? Contact. Attempt takeover. I mean, they do seem to be making money back. Oh yeah, I need the TNT title. The FTW title, sorry. All Atlantic, TBS and World Trios aren't on yet. Is it investments where you can buy titles? Purchase the classic belt. FTW Championship. Yes. Nice. So titles. I still like seeing this. AEW. So you know, like this kind of stuff has like the brass ring. I'll just do that. And then search, retired, unretired title. Nice. Active, perfect. So that's fine. Let me finish night 2. We have Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers against FTR and the Young Bucks. Almost feels like it should have been the main event. Big Swole isn't allowed in. Nyla Rose versus Kenzie Page and Kylie Lynn. Don't really need either of them. Colt Cabana's with the Dark Order. Orange Cassidy with best friends against Chris Jericho. No one debuts the end, so that's fine. You might think this is a little bit overkill, and that we lost 400,000. Yeah, you might think it's a little overkill, and that like, oh, you don't need to check the show prematurely. I didn't do it, and I hadn't hired FTR by the time FTR debuted, and it was mortifying. So research. What's our coverage? So TV, big and medium in, that's fine. So events, pretty good. Let's check anywhere. Commercial pay-per-view. Cable pay-per-view, is that the best one? I mean, it is medium. That one's very big and we could be on Dish. When does our in-demand deal end? Cancel deal? Have let us cancel the deal. Highly pro wrestling, medium risk. Neutral wrestling, high risk. It is very big. Can we get on? Not for dark, on for events. What's this? Is this commercial pay-per-view? Yeah. Want a minimum of 12 episodes. So you want... You want 12... a pay-per-view a month. We don't do that. Late night. Do you still want... Is that a minimum of 12 episodes in the year? We could do with the deal, to be fair. Should we just try it? It's the worst that can happen. Let's cancel our deal for in-demand. Hell yeah. Alright, so we got very big in the US. Oh, this is anywhere, any cable pay-per-view. Did they say they won't ask for... I have to check the broadcast stuff. Dish. Exclusive rights over US, that's fine. To be fair, I don't use either of these, so it doesn't really matter. So can I just cancel these? Yeah. Sweet. So if we just go back to broadcasting, cable pay-per-view, terrestrial pay-per-view, internet pay-per-view. Right, it's fine. And then terrestrial commercial. Only America. Our commercial deal is pretty good. Cable commercial. So we are on TNT. We only really have US deals. What about internet commercial? If I just go any type coverage in Canada, that would just be Canada though. None. Sweet. Mexico. I imagine any of these are not going to be just that region. Will they let us on? Or is it going to be like, we have too many people? Hell yeah.
We'll pay 1,000 per one. Sweet, so that actually gets us... Yeah, should be fine. That gets us some visibility in Europe. So British Isles and Europe is done. Please let us on. Hell yeah. So we got Jan. Oh, that fits into Asia Pacifica. To be fair, it might be good to get the TV deals on these as well. If they'll let us. Fair. Not bad to get our show everywhere. So what now? Our coverage... for events is everywhere but Mexico and Canada. TV. No. We don't really have two highlights anyway. I thought TNT covered Canada, to be honest. So there isn't any. What's the YouTube? YouTube is the Americas. That's annoying. That can be fine for now. Does TNT want broadcasting? Because I know Dish Network want exclusive. TNT has exclusive rights. That's fine. So we cover Europe and America. And then Asia, Europe, America. Europe's going to be our big push then, I guess. Alright, sweet. 6 days. While this is simming, go to next show, please. All is fine? All seems fine. Might fill up my coffee. And then whenever we hit the 3 hour mark for AEW, which I am surprisingly enjoying considering we've been going for 3 hours, I'll put my breakfast in the air fryer. See, if I'd love to use a microwave, but I can't. So that's the end of that story. Ugh. This has gone alright so far. I'm quite happy with this. I mean, it's still the most amount of viewers I've ever had. I do have my meals planned. I'll probably do it every 3 hours. So, in half an hour, we'll stop AEW. And I'll just put my breakfast in the air fryer. It's just a little muffin. We'll probably stick some wrestling on while that goes on. It only takes seconds to read. Another save for 3 hours, which will take me to about 2:30-ish. At some point, I'll put my lunch in the oven. It's just a little pastry. And it only takes us to 9. And then, to be honest, I haven't fully planned my tea. I thought I had. I might just make me tea around 8 o'clock, but I could always have some pasta in between that. Hope everyone's enjoying this. I'm having... it's not even 2.5 hours. I'm having a surprising amount of fun. I actually don't know where my cat is. Give me 1 second. She was just absolutely conked out on the bed, which I don't blame her because she was running around with a big zoomie. A little later, I have a bottle of Prosecco and a couple of beers. Oh, it's getting quite nippy now, actually. So we can get a little. If anyone's still around, then get a little rowdy, have a little bit of fun. I'm not sure what save to do next. I might jump into the whatever the 90s save is. I can't remember if it was 92 or 94. I think it was 92. Sorry, I hope everyone's staying safe. There's a little bit of a storm going on in the United Kingdom. I don't really watch streams myself. Which I probably should. I always enjoy it whenever I watch them, so if anyone's around, give Tucky24 a follow. Though I imagine the only people that are watching are Tucky fans. I will be following it. Because I really appreciate that the brother dropped me a follow and raided. Mint. Yeah, it was really nice. Real nice start. I feel like that momentum is going to drive me at least for the next couple of hours. Should we go straight onto the... we're on Monday anyway. Wait, when is it going to? Oh, let's go onto the book. I was hooked. I didn't need lacrosse anymore. I had pro wrestling. The absence of lacrosse as a factor brought about a problem of its own. I had applied to colleges with the intention of playing goalie, and now that intention was gone. I really had no desire to go to the schools that recruited me. Salisbury State in Maryland, or Western Maryland as well. What? Salisbury State in Maryland, or Western Maryland in, well, Western Maryland. Instead, I settled on Cortland State University, which was located in between Syracuse and Bennington in upstate New York. Upon enrollment, I immediately began a quest with Scott Draher, my old BP buddy, to be an amazingly average student. And in that quest, I was successful. I was on course to achieving straight C's across the board. When I went home for fall break presented a tricky schedule problem. I was supposed to return to school on Sunday, October 16th, in order to be at class on Monday. This would be in direct conflict to the highly anticipated rematch between the Superfly and Morocco, which was scheduled for October 17th. I considered my options. On one hand, I had sociology class with John Alt. On the other, I had my favourite wrestler and his bitter rival at the most famous arena in the world inside a steel cage. I thought about John Alt, who had lost me at the moment he said, "Let's talk about narcissism," or more simply, narcissistic self-proliferation. Then I thought about Snooker and his dive off the cage a year ago in a matchup with Bob Buckland. It was no contest. John Alt and his vocabulary that was so ridiculous we were required to carry a dictionary with us to test had lost our... God. It was no contest. John Alt and his vocabulary that was so ridiculous we were required to carry a dictionary with us to tests had lost out to the man who Vince McMahon declared was no less than phenomenal. Oh, we've got pictures at the next bit. Jeff Hardy has gone to CMLL, and so has John Moxley. Hopefully not for tonight's show. Oh, thank God Greg Stubbins is back at 100%. Abaddon, Tennille and Lee Johnson wants to be called up. We held a house show. Kota and Kenny Omega are split up. Girl. Edit relationships. Kota. Andrew Everett, Priscilla Kelly, and Kylie Ray want to be called up. Anna Jay's contract's ending, and a house show was held. Honestly, I'm more than happy to keep Anna Jay under an exclusive written. Let's check back in with the Ring of Honor. Yeah, not in bad enough way for us to take them over. So let's continue to Fighter Fest Night 2. No warming up as we go straight into the show. Booking team meeting. Kenny Omega gets on well with Jon Moxley. Taz was clearly not happy with Excalibur. Chris Statlander pulled a classic rip on Kenzie Page. DDP ran drills for 7 students. Cody Rhodes ran drills for 7 students. Madison Rayne has an angle. Ray Fenix has an angle. Nice. So if we once again, what did we call it last time? AEW Fighter Fest Night 1 opening. AEW Fighter Fest Night 2 opening. Make this a hype, pre-taped video, 1 minute. What if we just did major stars? Does it still want to be unscripted? So we go straight into Private Party with Matt Hardy against Omega and Hangman. Cassidy rolls Page back into the ring and Quen hits a shooting star press off the top. Omega breaks it up at literally the last split second. Private Party set up for the gin and juice, but Omega catches Cassidy with a V-trigger, and Page super bombs Quen off the top. Page and Omega hit Cassidy with the last call for the win. Kenny Omega steal the show. Oh, Hangman Page steal the show. And then we are straight into Jonah against Joey Janela. Jonah drags Sonny Kiss from the back and throws them at Janela. So we have Jonah, Jake Roberts, Sonny Kiss, and Joey Janela. And then into the match. Joey against Jonah. Janela goes back up top, but Archer cuts him off and hits the blackout off the apron and through the table that Janela set up earlier. Back in the ring, Archer pins the lifeless Janela. "11 minutes. Jonah. Wild brawl. Another Darby Allin vignette airs. He warns Brian Cage not to forget about him, and then he does a coffin drop off a 20-foot scaffold. Darby Allin tells Brian Cage not to forget about him. It's Darby cutting a promo with Bossman Cage. Just a pre-taped video outside broadcast. Tony Schiavone brings Cage and Taz out for an interview. Taz has a huge announcement, and he's holding up a black bag. He says this will be an iconic moment that everyone will remember. Taz says Mox was supposed to defend his title against Cage, but instead, that'll happen next week. Taz says what he's holding is something he created a decade ago, and is the embodiment of his full body of work. Taz pulls out the old ECW FTW title. Taz says that no wrestling organisation has ever recognised the belt, but the fans have, because the man that holds the belt is the baddest son of a bitch walking the earth, and the title will no longer be uncrowned. He says Cage will go into next week as the FTW champion.
What you are seeing right now is some renegade shit, Taz says as he points to Cage. Hey Mox, your ass is done, buddy. Schiavone interviews Taz and Cage. Taz awards Cage with the FTW title and says he's coming for Mox. Interview in the ring, 5 minutes. Taz, cut the promo, Brian Cage, character development. Tony is the interviewer, and John Mox off screen. And this has a title change, the FTW, Brian Cage. 5 minutes, perfect. We then get the 4v4 of Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Bros against FTR and Young Bucks. FTR, Young Bucks, Butcher and the Blade, Lucha Dudes. Save. I mean, this is probably a mental match. I'm thinking, I don't know, 16, but it probably did go on longer. Phoenix hits a springboard Mexican destroyer off Matt, off the back of his brother, and onto everyone else. Nick goes for the super kick on Pentagon, but he moves and Nick hits Dax. Pentagon and Phoenix hit the LB driver for the win. Hell yeah. Who's more popular than Rey Fenix? Oh, is he always going to be unhappy? Penta. Let's keep strong. Nick Jackson. Big Swole is shown being blocked from entering the building as she is served papers. She is suspended for her behaviour. Schiavone says that Britt Baker petitioned for AEW to suspend Swole. Swole isn't allowed in the building. Britt Baker petitioned. Who's all petitioned? No, there's no R. For her to be suspended. Hell yeah. Tony. Big Swole. And we can say stick Britt Baker here as well. 3 minutes, backstage, jobs are good. We then have Nyla Rose beating Kenzie Page and Kaylee Lynn. Neither are here. We might have both of them. Search. Handicap 1 vs 2. That's Nyla against women. We do have Kenzie Page. We don't have Kaylee Lynn. So instead, we can do Red Velvet. Why not? Page and King argue over who is going to start the match. Rose hits a German suplex on Page and then spears King into the stratosphere. Rose lifts Page up and tosses her into Lynn before fallaway slamming her into King. Rose then hits the Beast Bomb on Page on top of King and pins both of them. 8 minutes. Big Nyla victory. Rose says she believes actions speak louder than words, and her actions tonight spoke for themselves. Rose says she sees all the great wrestlers with managers in AEW, so she has taken it upon herself to hire her own. Rose says she is not ready to tell anyone who it is, but says her manager will make sure she regains her title very soon. Rose says she has hired herself a manager. Will reveal them soon. Nyla cutting a promo on, I guess, the champion. We then have Colt Cabana is shown in the trainer's room with a gigantic bruise on his side. Lee walks up and says he has no idea who caused the injury, but the Dark Order will make sure things like this don't happen again. Lee tells Cabana they have a match to get ready for, and Cabana says, "Yes, Mr. Brody," and walks away. Dark Order tell Cabana they have his back and will look out for him. I wonder what all this was leading to. Like, that to me is one of the biggest mysteries. Because obviously Brody passed away. Like, what was this leading to? Alex Woods and John Silver. To be fair, all these don't need to be cut in a promo, but might as well get them on the show. And then finally, it's the 3v3 of Dark Order against SCU. Brody, Evil, and Colt against Frankie, Daniels, and Scorpio. Back in the ring, Daniels sunset flips Grayson and hits an STO followed by a diving moonsault for a near fall. Cabana breaks up the pin attempt, and Daniels slaps him in the face. Lee destroys Daniels with a lariat, and then he tells Grayson to tag in Cabana, but gets the pin. Oop. Oop. Ah, this couldn't be going any worse. Boop, 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 boop. Cabana tries to celebrate the win, but Lee keeps telling him to stop. He win, but Lee keeps telling him to stop. Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, Energy. In the ring, like 2 minutes should do. Big Swole, wearing a face mask, bursts in and tries to get Britt Baker, and she balls up the suspension and throws it at Baker. Big Swole bursts into the back. And throws the suspension letter at Britt Baker. Big Brit, Rebel, Javante. Just 2 minutes backstage. Perfect. Finally, we have Orange Cassidy against Chris Jericho. Jericho goes for the lion salt, but Orange Cassidy moves out the way and hits a Michinoku driver for a near fall. Jericho had some Juventud Guerrera flashbacks. Jericho and Orange Cassidy exchange strikes again until Jericho goes for a suplex, only for Orange Cassidy to counter into the Slumdog Millionaire, followed by the Satellite DDT. Chris Jericho kicks out. Orange Cassidy goes for the Superman forearm, but eats a Judas effect for the win. Jericho, storytelling, boom. Uh, 72 Mike 72 said nothing that was a surprise, and Shh said, why don't you like posting reviews of the show, Josh? Why don't you like posting reviews of the show, Josh? Chris Jericho stands tall over Orange Cassidy. Does this lead to the shitty little swimming pool match or whatever it was? Chris Jericho. Perfect. 3 minutes. That's fine. Oh, we cut a singular minute. Boom. Sweet. Happy with this. Let's run a 2v2 of Shida and Riho taking on the team of... Oh, Shida up here now. Hell yeah. Taking on the team of Madison Rayne and Mercedes Martinez. Pre-show. Let's stick pre-show Riho over.
Recognizable. Jungle Boy can get a sweet little win over Dustin Rhodes. Jungly Boy. Boom. Anyone else recognizable who's getting a bit of a big push at the moment? Orange Cassidy can absolutely do with a win over Sean Spears. Nice. Let's run the show. Shida and Riho defeated Rain and Martinez when Riho pinned Madison Rain with a jumping knee attack. Jungle Boy defeated Dustin Rhodes in 12:21 by pinfall, and Orange Cassidy defeated Sean Spears in 12:03 with a Superman punch. Fight Fest Night 2 opening did do a lot better than when we have more people in. And the bout had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Omega and Hangman defeated Private Party in 11:45 when Page pinned Mark Quinn with a buckshot lariat to make defense number 7 of the AEW Tag Team titles. Jonah drags Sonny Kiss from the back and throws them at Janela. In a wild brawl, there had decent reaction from the crowd but subpar wrestling. Jonah defeated Janela in 10:33 with a death drop driver. Darby tells Brian Cage not to forget about him, and Schiavone interviews Taz and Cage. Taz awards Cage with the FTW title and says he's coming for Mox. In a decent match, the Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers defeated FTR and the Young Bucks when Penta pinned Nick Jackson with a fear factor. I actually thought this match would do a lot better. Swole isn't allowed in the building, and Britt Baker petitions for her to be suspended. Nyla Rose defeated Kenzie Page and Red Velvet in a handicap match when Nyla submitted Kenzie with a camel clutch. Rose says she's hired herself a manager and will reveal them soon. The Dark Order tell Cabana they have his back and will look out for him. In a decent match. Yeah, the audio levels are probably fine. It just felt louder than before. In a decent match, the Dark Order defeated SoCal Uncensored when Cabana pinned Daniels with a Colt 45. Cabana tries to celebrate. I meant to say the win, but not with win. But Lee keeps telling him to stop. Big Swole bursts into the back and throws the suspension letter at Baker. And finally, in our main event, pretty great match, Jericho defeated OC in 21:34 with a lion salt. Jericho stands tall over OC. Hell yeah, that one goes out to Tuggy every time we get a good show. Look at that. Boom. And get that pop in Europe. Oh, we'll debut Berlin Wall. And get over in Western Europe. Oh, big stretch from a big boy. So, before we do anything else, or before we move on to anything else, I just want to check the next show to make sure there's nothing we're going to miss out on, no one we need to hire. Oh, next week is also Fight for the Fallen. Taz is on commentary for Tony Schiavone, who is sick. We have Cody against Sonny Kiss. Lucha Brothers against FTR. Big Jericho Orange Cassidy face off. Jurassic Express take on the Elite. That's kind of a cool match. John Moxley's pissed off. The Nightmare Sisters of Ali and Brandy team up. That's a Rogue one. Dasha introduces Nyla Rose's manager, Vicky Guerrero, who I think has been rehired by WWE. No. But has left the wrestling business. We then have Brian Cage against John Moxley. Darby Allin returns. So let's find a female non-wrestler based in the USA to hire. SoCal Val, Noelle Foley, Mia Khalifa. Lillian Garcia. Karen Jarrett. Karen Jarrett could work. What if I change it to retired wrestler? AJ Lee. Alison Brie. Alison Danger could work. Amber O'Neil. Chelsea Diamond. Daphne could be nice. Daisy Hayes. Jazz. Portia Perez. God, there is so many great ones, but I do think I'm going to go with Daphne. I'll give you 9 months. I'm not sure how long this lasts. Bill Morrissey developmental request. Joey Janela booking complaint. Sweet. I think we should, it's worth us simming forward at least. Just so we, if we do jump on this again, or the next time we jump on, we've kind of got it all sorted. So let's read. Yes, I was going to the matches, but that was still a problem. My dad would never buy a cage match as an excuse to miss college. No way. He was going to drive us to the Greyhound bus station at 20 minutes from our house, drop me and Scott off, and continue with my mom to Indiana to pay a visit for my brother. I saw an opening and devised my plan. It was pure genius. I would go with my mom and dad to the bus station and be dropped off as scheduled. After all the goodbyes, we would wait until my parents had driven away, then hide in the woods and await the arrival of John Abriono, who was attending a local college. The three of us would take the train to New York City the following day, and then feast on the buffet of bloodshed that was Superfly and the Magnificent One. The plan was taking effect. We were in the car on the way to the station, and my parents were chatting to us. I got the slightest twinge of guilt in my throat as I thought about the people I was planning to lie and deceive. Sorry, there's also pictures here. Chapter 3. My father, Jack Foley, the original Cactus Jack, was a true legend in the field of athletic administration. After starting out at the Setterket High School, which is now an elementary school, my dad went on to become the Director of Health, Physical Education and Recreation for a school system that was made up of 5 elementary schools, 2 junior high schools, and Ward Melville High School. A place so nice that it could pass for a college campus. In addition, he was the chairman of basketball and lacrosse in our country, and host of the yearly Country Wrestling Championship and Special Olympics, and was a member of so many groups and organisations that I can't count them all. For his efforts, he was selected as an Athletic Director of the Year for the entire nation in 1988. Oh, James Storm out with WWE. Kevin Owens is to feud with Xavier Woods. Angelico's contract is ending. We do kind of still have him. Let's just get him on a handshake, pair show. ATV shows are fine, but you do get moved down to Ring of Honor. Evil Uno's contract is ending. Let's again just get you on a handshake, pair show. You are still here, so 300 will work. Stu Grayson, I think leaves, but I can't remember. So again, I'm happy just to have you on a handshake and we'll use you as we use you. I think I have too many people being paid monthly. Anna J. Yeah, we'll keep you on the main roster. And let's continue. Which is kind of like a World Wrestling Federation title belt for ADs. Upon his retirement, the ultimate honour was bestowed upon him.
when the Ward Melville Gymnasium was officially renamed the Jack Foley Gymnasium. I recently asked my dad if he'd been to the gymnasium to see the plaque honouring him as the gym's namesake. He replied that he had, but he had had to move a soda machine in order to see it. My mom was the first member of her family to attend college, earning a degree in physical education from Brockport State in upstate New York, and later a master's from Stony Brook. She became a physical ed teacher at the Settercuit School, and it was there that she fell for the vaunted Foley charm. After giving birth in '64 to my brother John, she gave up teaching to become a full-time mom. It's funny, my dad has the doctorate, but any time I had a question, I always went to my mother. She had a thirst for knowledge that made her almost like an encyclopedia, or a Jeopardy contestant. My mom would take college courses just for the hell of it. If she wanted to learn more about a certain subject, she'd just sign up.
Yoshiko loses MMA fight? Good. If Yoshiko is the person I think they are. I'm glad that Angel Cruz is getting a WWE contract offer. Daphne, we can hire you. Heel on the main roster. Jack Evans' contract's ending. I think he does eventually just kind of dip out. So I'll negotiate you the handshake per show for 9 months and we can assess from there. If I use you, I use you. If I don't, oh well.
If she wanted to learn more about a certain subject, she'd just sign up. She'd then come home from class with her notebook and proceed to copy her notes directly into another notebook again, not to pursue a degree, just to pursue knowledge. That is something I always found admirable, or a little sick, I'm not sure which. Even to this day, my mom will still polish off at least 2 good-sized novels a week. My dad also likes to read, but his reading has a dark side to it. No, I'm not talking about stacks of porno magazines at the Foley house. I'm talking about newspapers. Lots and lots of newspapers. I'm convinced somewhere in his childhood my dad must have had a traumatic episode involving a newspaper, because he had an obsession with the damn things. 2 papers every day, 2 local papers every week, and 4 newspapers every Sunday. Long Island Newsday, New York Times, Daily News, and the Long Island Press. Sometimes he'd bring home a New York Post just for the hell of it.
Scott Hall has a WWE contract offer. Oh, Baron Corbin defeats Samir Singh to be the IC champion at Extreme Rules. Joe defeated Bryan to retain. Orton defeated Lesnar. Rousey defeated Vega to retain. Roman Reigns and Xavier Woods defeated Drew McIntyre and Jimmy Uso. Asuka defeated Lana. Lynch defeated Trish Stratus, Maurice and Bliss to retain the Raw Women's. Big E defeated Kofi in a cage match. Fucking hell. Baron defeated Samir Singh for the IC. Mickey James defeated Natalya. Rusev defeated Aries, Benjamin and Cedric. Tyler Bate and The Bar defeated Curtis Axel and the Vaudevillains. And Maria defeated Tamina. Oh, Nightmare Factory 10 happened. Where is it? There it is. Bill Morrissey defeated Seidel to retain. Andrew Everett defeated Billy Gunn to retain. Priscilla Kelly defeated Chelsea Green to retain. Black Death defeated Colton and Bowers to retain. Solid show all round. Mark Quinn, Leva Bates, and Shidda's contract are ended. So Shidda, we can continue with you. Written for the next year. Then we can see if we want to take it down to a handshake. Same with Mark Quinn. Let's just get you on a handshake per show. For the next 3 years, it's fine with me actually. Leave a bit, we can let that contract run out. Angelico, yeah, main roster. Boop, what are we on Monday? Why would Chris Jericho have moral issues?
Most of the time, my dad was so busy that he would leave for work before we woke up, and we'd return when it was just about bedtime. I would go downstairs to see him, a Schmitz of Pennsylvania, and he'd knock off a few pages of Newsday while swigging down what many would consider the worst tasting brew of all time. Now, Sundays were different. That was paper day, with the accompaniment of either a Yankee, college baseball, college basketball, or pro football game in the background. Depending on the new season, my dad would launch into a long quest to devour the news. It didn't matter that much of the news was damn near a week old. He'd read it anyway. Not just read it, he'd underline the important parts. I'm not kidding. A small correction here. If the Sunday reading session fell between November 25th and December 24th, the audio of the ball game would be turned off and would be replaced with the soothing sounds of classic Christmas music, crackling and popping on our antique turntable. I still to this day carry at least one Christmas CD with me on the road at all times. There's nothing like White Christmas on a hot July afternoon, even if old Bing did beat the crap out of his kids. Didn't know that. Unfortunately for my dad, he would usually run out of time before he'd run out of the paper. But he couldn't bear to part with them. Instead of throwing them out, he would stack them in the garage where over the course of time they would resemble many pulps. They would resemble many pulpy, musty-leaning towers of Pisa. Here we are, we're on Wednesday. The reading can pause. Oh, Arcaness is retiring. T-Hawk's contract's ending, that can run out. Penelope Ford's contract's ending. Just get you on a handshake. Pair show. I don't even know if Penelope Ford's still there, but I'll do 2 years. Isaiah Cassidy's the same. If I'm just paying people per show with no downside, then hopefully we can save some money. No engagement announcement. Super Dragon and Eva Lise are now engaged. I think Super Dragon has a wife, just separately, but Kylie Ray's contract is ending. I think we can just let that run out, if I'm honest. And Seema's contract's ending. That's fine. We can let that run out. See? Alright, alright. Boom. That's the end of this. I'm thinking